Hey everybody, Ephrom Joe here. They were taking another political compass test. They were taking the SelectSmart.com test because I'm bored. This looks like it was designed like 1998 or something, to be honest with you guys. In fact, I'm actually kind of worried to hit any buttons on this because I think it could break the entire screen. Anyway, let's take the test. Should Social Security be privatized? No, this is a decently high priority. Should America end welfare program? No, about same high priority. Should the U.S. government provide free money for college education for all Americans, making grades 13 through 16 free just as grades K through 12 are? Of course. And making that a high priority. Should taxes paid by Americans be used for the government to provide foreign aid? Not sure, really. I want to lean towards no, but at the same time, I do see a strong argument. I'm not familiar enough with foreign policy in order to have an informed decision. Should the United States create a socialized system of free health care for all? Of course. Do you agree or disagree with the idea, popularly promoted by politicians these days, of using tax to pay for prescription drugs for seniors? I'll tend to agree with that. That's a pretty high priority. Do you fundamentally agree or disagree with the following idea? If people work together with the government and pooled their money for grant projects or construction, exploration, and service, we could make great things happen. Yes, but the problem is, I don't think it's realistic. So I'm going to put not sure. Because if you mean, do I think that if that situation were to happen, it'd be great? Yes. Do I think it can happen? No. Should marijuana be legal? It should be legal, yes, and the government should assume a social ownership of the establishment to sell it. It should be sellable, and the government should protect the interest of existing marijuana selling businesses to flourish and grow, businesses that individually should be sold. I think this one best describes my opinions. It should be saleable, and the government should help protect the interests of existing marijuana selling businesses so they can flourish and grow. And this is high priority. The voting age should be lowered to 16. Not quite sure. Homosexuality is morally wrong. No, it isn't. I'm not. Yeah, I'm gonna put that about here. Should racial profiling be legal, illegal, or not? Sure, it should be legal. Wait. Yeah. No. Do they mean illegal in the sense of on a business level or illegal in the sense of a personal level, though? Because, like, someone saying something racist, that should be legal. Someone denying an opportunity because of race, that shouldn't be. So I'm going to go not sure. This question isn't specific enough. Such civil liberties as freedom of speech, the right to a trial by jury, and not being detonated without arrangement of trial, or freedom of religion must be suspended in times of war and extreme national emergencies. No. Should it be illegal in the United States for women to go topless on the beach? Let's see. Moral, no. This argument doesn't even make any sense. I don't believe in states' rights, and I'm sure the answer is yes. This is pretty much my opinion on it. Yeah, I can live without it, but it'd be kind of cool, I guess. I'd be about here. Nah, closer to here. Should people be allowed to use the police to interrogate, stop, disperse, or arrest if necessary? People for activity, dress, or it's not illegal, but personally offends or imitate. I can't speak today. Them or makes them feel uncomfortable. No. I don't want police states. The United States government should be involved in promoting Christianity and Christian values. No. If the U.S. cuts its budget of defense this year, I don't... What the heck do they do apostrophes like that? Even want to think about what could happen. No, I think it's important to think what could happen. And how much are we cutting it by, though? Like, cutting it by, we'll say half. That might not be a deal, but completely cutting it is kind of an issue, because I believe, actually, George W. Bush did cut defense spending a little bit before 9/11, so I'm not really sure. I think it depends on how much we're talking about. Should an employer for a business be allowed to refuse to hire fully naturalized immigrants because of the immigrant status? No. This is of decently high priority to me. Well, no, that's the wrong word. I'll put it about here. Should the manager of a business that is open to the general public be allowed to ask a customer who is engaged in illegal or physically destructive behavior to leave for any reason the manager wants to? For any reason, no. Now, this is of low priority, though, if you ask me. Should the manager of a business that is open to the general public be allowed to ask a customer to leave because of his or her race? Of course not. Should campaign contributions from corporations be banned? No, but if it wasn't banned... I'm going to put no, but this is of low priority. Should Napster be punished for intellectual property violations? I have no clue. The invisible hand of the market will provide true freedom of choice and allow customers to public to sell for rich diversities of publics. This is talking about the free market, isn't it? I'm gonna lean towards this. The extent of the activities of corporations must be contributed if it will drive endangered species to extinction. I assume that means regulated, and if so, I'll tend to agree with that. Can an employer have his employee arrested for holding a strike? I have no idea. And I'm not sure. How many? Okay. Should the government provide funding for art that deals with erotic and salgalic? I have no clue what that means, and would likely be considered pornography. Okay. Yes, they should fund all for... I support federal funding for art, but that stuff with a statue of naked women splattered with blood and feces, or gay men having sex, that kind of porn should be illegal in this country. The government shouldn't be subsidizing any art. Art is pointless. I don't think the government should be subsidizing any art, to be honest. I think government and art should be as separate as possible, and this is of high priority to me. Let's see. What do I get? I get... My results are below. I'm like 100% liberal. Okay. I'm 78% New Labor. I might have to look into that. 73% anarcho syndicates. I have no clue what that means. I'm 67% totalitarian. I'm 47% traditional societies. Okay, that's kind of interesting. 45%